Okay, hello there. Happy to see you today. Thank you for joining me for episode number 115 on these Wisdom Wednesdays. And today we're going to talk about some of the stuff people ask me questions about a lot. And this particular question is, how do I get out of my head? How do I get those voices out of my head that keep telling me I'm not good enough? So we're going to look at getting out of your head. We're going to look at having a personal peace practice, and we're going to look at how to stop the monkey mind that sometimes happens for you. So let me do a little conniving here for you. Okay. And so the reason we're going to be doing all of this stuff today, and for me, is to get across to you, this is doable. You can stop those incessant thoughts that happen in your head. And when you are able to do that, you're going to find that you're one step closer to being able to live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. So if you don't know me, my name is Carrie Fox. And without a doubt, one of my main missions in life is to be a constant reminder of your infinite wisdom connection. Thanks. Just a minute here. Of your infinite wisdom connection, and that's a guidance that's always there for you. You're never stranded. You're never alone. You always have that infinite wisdom there for you, in you, with you. And I do these things, these videos and the courses and workshops, and everything I do is because you're thriving. That's my passion. Now, for some of you that don't know me, I've been getting a lot of questions lately about my background and what I do. So very quickly, I have really spent decades studying and experimenting with healing and metaphysical practices. I started back in the 1980s, my company that's called Harmony Enterprises. And one of the things I wrote back then was called Earthwalk. And in Earthwalk, it came to me, or I was becoming aware of how we deliberately incarnated onto planet Earth at this particular place in time. And then I thought about the planning and the forethought that must have gone into that. And then in the 90s, I spent a lot of time with earth sciences, including shamanism. And that's when I got my shaman name of Laughing Fox. And then a decade or so after that, I actually legally changed my name to Carrie Laughing Fox. So I find myself basically unendingly curious about this life process, and I like to think of myself as a life enthusiast. So what we're going to look at today, one of the things is how you yourself, myself, can make things difficult and complicated, or we can make things simple. And simplicity tends to be one of my gifts. I just seem to have a way to make things very simple, very clear. And it's my goal to create a more simpler view of some of the things that people find complex or interesting. So today we're going to start looking at the brain. And I have found that many people have fallen into the belief that the energy and the consciousness is in our brain and that it can be called the mind. And I just want to point out to you, what if that's not true? What if your brain is not the same as your mind? So I want to offer you a simplified explanation today that can change the way you look at the world. And one of the other things it does, once you have this simplified view, is it leaves so much room for so much other exploration for you on how you're living your life once you develop this simple way of looking at it. So I'd like to suggest that you look at the look at the brain as a data storage system. It's a hard drive that has been formatted as to where information is going to go in the brain. And then all of the experiences you've had in your life, all the things that people have told you, your parents saying, no, don't do that. Everything that you've ever witnessed, gone on, heard, or seen goes into this data storage. It's a memory storage unit. And the interesting thing about, once you understand that the brain is basically a data storage unit, is that that data storage unit has a gatekeeper. So that instantly when you need a piece of information, the gatekeeper knows where to get that in there and bring it up to you as soon as possible. So my next question to you is, what if that gatekeeper is your ego? What if that's the job that your ego signed up for in this lifetime when it decided to incarnate with you? It said, okay, I'm going to be the gatekeeper to your data storage system so that when you need things, I can get it for you real fast. That's how I'm going to help you in this lifetime. So an example that I like to give when I'm talking about this particular process is, remember the first time, probably when you were young, when you put your hand too close to a live flame, like trying to grab the flame of a candle or something like that. And what happened is you got burnt. It burnt your flesh. You may have gotten blistered to it. Well, that information goes into the hard drive, into the data system. And so then the next time that you start to put your hand close to live flame, heat, whatever, fire, that's going to come up and say, this is what happened last time. You got burnt. So that's what this data system is for, and that's how it's controlled, is with your ego as the gatekeeper. Now, one of the interesting things that happened pretty much to everybody I've ever met on the planet is at some place or another, that ego, that gatekeeper of your storage unit, starts getting too big for its britches. It starts feeling like it knows all those things that it's accessing for you, that it's smarter than it really is, that it's the keeper of all the knowledge. It's a really big, important thing. And it wants you to know that. It wants to feel more valuable. It wants to actually make you feel afraid so that it feels like a bigger guy. I call it the out of control ego. So when that happens, it sometimes seems like it turns into the demonic gatekeeper of the Ghostbusters movies. But what really happens is when the ego is out of control, it wants to make you feel bad. And it says things like, I don't deserve to be happy, or you can't do that, or you're no good, or you don't know about math, you can't handle money. What makes you think you can do that? That's all an out of control ego sending words and thoughts to you, when the truth of it is that happiness is your natural state of being. So my big thing to say to you today is, do not let your out of control ego control your life. When it goes into fearfulness or feeling insignificant and it wants to feel like a bigger guy, it wants you to depend on it more, to rely on it more, to need it more. So it tells us that we're not enough as a human being. Now, basically what happens is, like this picture on the left-hand side, is the ego telling you that you're just a 3D human being with limitations, with problems. You're broken. You're not good at something. You're too fat. You're not tall enough. Nobody thinks you're attractive. What the heck are you doing, kind of stuff. But in reality, if you look at the right-hand side of this particular slide, you see my interpretations of who and what you really are. That you are a part of cosmic consciousness, people call it, all kinds of things, God, source, universe, all of that. That's the energy of who you are. And it only took a small sliver of that energy to come down onto the planet Earth and incarnate for a while, which is your intention. I think I'm going to go down to planet Earth for a while, and I'm going to have a grand adventure, like a vacation. Doesn't this sound like fun? But the ego, when it's out of control, wants you to think you are very limited and that you are not a part of cosmic consciousness, and you're not a part of infinite wisdom, and you're not as smart as you think you are. So here's another way to look at that. You are cosmic consciousness that created a human by going into the DNA system and actually blueprinting your body, your cells, your experiences, your mother, your father, your life, things that you want to have happen to you so that you can incarnate and manifest in this lifetime on the planet Earth. So getting into today, making this a long story really short, you are so much more stronger, wiser, powerful than you think you are. And you need to get out of your head sometimes, because your head, your out of control ego, is telling you things that are not true. So you can simplify that all by understanding that your brain is nothing but a storage system and the ego is its gatekeeper. So what can you do about it? You can develop a personal peace practice. You can design a system that works for you, that you can do it over and over and over again anytime that you need it. And sometimes it takes practice to develop it. Sometimes it takes time to learn how to do this. And then after you do it over and over and over, you can do it in a nanosecond. Now, the best example that I can use for a personal peace practice is, of course, meditation. And that's a really good way to learn to get out of your 3D body, out of your 3D human limitations, and widen yourself to actually encapsulate. It's not the word I really want to use there, the greatness of your cosmic consciousness and your infinite wisdom, the more powerful part of you. And the other thing that you can do is you can discover the stop the mind process, which I'm going to give you as a gift pretty briefly today. So when it comes to learning and using your mind or brain, whichever way we want to look at that today, for some people, it's really easy. And for other people, it's really hard to learn new things. And the same is true if you take it from people to time. Sometimes a person may be in a time where they can learn things real fast. I talked that last week, I think, about biorhythms. You might be at a time of the day or the week or the month of the year where your intellectual is just working really fine. And there's other times that you're trying to learn something and it's more difficult for you to do that. Whichever phase of life you're in, whichever way you deal with learning new things, you can, by being committed and purposeful about it, you can learn to do the things that I'm going to be talking to today. That's the important part. If you really want this, you just have to be committed to it. So what if what you thought was possible could be attained by using the stop the mind process? It's very simple. It's a way to take care of that out of control ego. When those manic thoughts are shooting through your brain, you can do something to eliminate them. There's just no easier word to say it than that. And it's best to try to do this when you recognize your out of control ego is trying to get control of you. It's when you have that moment of, I can't because, or I don't know how, or that's not true. That's an impossible thing to do. I can't. That is, without a doubt, your out of control ego trying to control you. Once you become aware of that, one of the easiest and best things that you can do is to replace that with images. Replace the thoughts and the words with images. Images that are peaceful. Images where they evoke a feeling in you, because feelings are 100 times stronger than words. So this is one of the images that I used when I started, and I use in teaching other people how to replace words with images. It's peaceful, it's calm, it's loving. I can feel the breath of myself in that. I can feel the breath of the earth in this photo, replacing the manic words with a calm and cooling image. And I often use images and encourage people to use images of nature, because nature is of the same cosmic consciousness energy as you are. The most powerful you is in alignment and flow with nature. So look for pictures of nature that you can bring to mind. Do you have a favorite spot that you fish at? If you have a favorite park that you walk through, grab an image of that in your mind so that when you find your out of control ego is trying to get control of you, it's saying those negative things, you can bring up these peaceful pictures. Or some people bring up pictures of things they love, like someone they love. Also, there's the ability to bring up something that makes you smile. or images that are just peaceful and heartfelt. And when your out of control image tries to peek itself back in, when it adds some I can't words again, you can take back control by eliminating, forcing out, not allowing a place in your beingness for the words, and you replace that with images. You replace it with an image. Many people have one image that they use over and over and over again. I could talk forever about this subject. But here's another one that is just fun, and it's cool, and it makes me smile. And if it makes you smile too, use this image. So you can use imagery. That's one of the ways that you can use the stop the mind process. It's very simple. It replaces the egoic, out of control egoic thoughts and words by replacing them with images. And I'm telling you this, you're going to be amazed at how simple it is to do this. And not only that, once you learn how to do it, you can also then learn how to keep that calmness, that stillness, that wonderfulness, that ease from that beautiful image for a long time, often for hours. The first few times you do it, the ego mind is going to try to step in real fast. You'll be out of it for a few seconds, and then a thought's going to come in, and your job is to go, no, 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 no. Bring in the image back in again. Breathe the image. Feel the image. It's wonderful. So however long that magic lasts, and for you, I hope you get to a point where that does last for hours or days, whatever it might be. That's what gets you closer to living in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. So that kind of covers the episode for today. We talked about getting out of your head, that the ego is the gatekeeper of the data storage system, which is your brain, and that sometimes that ego can get out of control and feels like it needs to control you, and it will send I can't because messages in the form of thoughts or words to you, and that you can replace those thoughts or words, which are often hectic and manic, with images that are more peaceful. If you can have a personal peace practice where you can bring peace into your life by using imagery to replace any manic or chaotic thoughts. Images can be used to stop the mind. So next week, our episode number 116 is going to be about what you do when you are out of harmony with the most wonderful you. It's going to be on July 14th at 1:00 p.m. Central Time. And it shows up on our Facebook page, Harmony Enterprises with Carrie Fox. And as you can see here, we do them live on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of every month. And then later that day, I will put the videos on the YouTube channel, which is also called Harmony Enterprises with Carrie Fox. Excuse me. So another thing I'd like to talk about today is we often have meditation workshops. So if you're someone who is having trouble meditating on your own or doing any of the things that I taught you today, which are really easy, but you're having trouble with it, just send me an email at meditationworkshops@harmonyenterprises.net, and we'll let you know when the next meditation workshop or class is going to be coming up. So let's see if we have any questions in the comments today. And of course, remember that your thriving is my passion. So if you ever do want to talk to me about something, want to reach out for me for some kind of supported guidance or anything like that, just comment on any of these videos, or you can send me a personal email to carrie.fox@harmonyenterprises.net. So now I don't see any questions today, so I'm going to send you on your way for you to go ahead and continue on your grand adventure and try to create your personal peace process. Thanks for stopping in today. Bye for now.